On October 12th, the new movie about the true story of convicted murderer and anytime abortionist Kermit Gosnell is going to be released. The movie is Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer.
All right, listen up. We are looking for anything that looks like drugs or paraphernalia.
Philadelphia Police Department, we have a search warrant. What is that smell? Man, you gotta see this. Is this normal? I don't know. I've never been in an abortion clinic before.
And this is a movie that a lot of pro-choice people aren't going to be very happy about. We sat down with the film's co-producer, writer, and co-author of the book that the film is based on, Phelim McAleer, who you might also know as the director of the controversial documentary, Fracnation. The big day is coming up, October 12th, Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer. Now, one of the bigger themes in the film is that no one wanted to touch the topic of abortion, whether it was media, law enforcement, judges, even the Department of Health. You face some resistance from people and/or organizations that don't want this film to see the light of day. What obstacles are you facing, and what are you doing or have you done to overcome those obstacles?
You know, I would disagree with you there. It's not that people don't want to touch abortion. They don't want to touch pro-life. They'll do all these movies and plays and things that are pro-abortion. You know, there's 3 movies planned in Hollywood at the moment that are pro-abortion. Sandra Bullock is going to play Wendy Davis, the Texan abortion Barbie. I mean, there's all these movies, there's all these plays, there's culture is everywhere. It's on Law and Order, it's all that. So they don't want to touch anything that might shine a negative spotlight on abortion. Like, for example, NPR, you know, our movie is coming out. It's going to be nationally released. It's coming out on October 12th. We approached NPR about sponsoring one of their programs, you know, and you hear this program is sponsored by, and it's the name of the film and a little description of the film. They wouldn't allow us to describe the film. They wouldn't allow us to describe Kermit Gosnell. They wouldn't allow us to describe Kermit Gosnell as an abortion doctor, because I suppose it had the words abortion doctor and serial killer in the one sentence. Because, you know, the name of the movie is Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer. And then we were going to say it's about abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell, who's serving 3 life sentences. Those are all facts. NPR themselves describe Gosnell as an abortion doctor. But they don't want negative stories about abortion out there.
Now, I think a fair amount of us have at least heard of Kermit Gosnell, but could you tell us a little bit about the actual film Gosnell?
Well, it's very close. We wrote a book, which is available in all good bookshops, I might add, and on Amazon. We wrote a book, Gosnell, and you know, and we've done a lot of research, read all the transcripts, all the investigative reports, and the film, whilst it is a movie starring Dean Cain, etc., it's very heavily based on trial transcripts. It's very close to reality, very close to the truth.
I was going to ask, how faithful is the film to the actual case?
It's unbelievable. You know, in fact, on some occasions we've made it unfaithful because we thought it was so crazy people wouldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. Can you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so there's a scene in it where the prosecution brought in a good abortionist, right? Because they wanted to show the jury what a good abortionist does and how bad Gosnell was, right?
Right.
So the good abortionist, in the movie, we have the good abortionist. In the trial, the good abortionist was asked, how many abortions have you done? And she responded, 40,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the noise the jury made. It's the only time the jury gasped during the whole horrible trial, when they heard that figure. And when we were doing the movie, we actually changed it to 30,000 because we thought no one would believe 40,000. We thought people were sitting there going, calculating, that can't be true, that can't be true. We didn't want people to come out of the movie and sort of start thinking about something else. We wanted them to keep them with them, so we reduced it to a more believable 30,000.
Well, 30,000 is an unbelievable number on its own.
It's people, you know, this is, I think, the one thing the jury didn't realize, and most people, and of course we didn't realize it before we started making this film, is that this is an industrial process. You know, this is a business. It's an industry. It's you know, and that was actually Gosnell's defense attorney, that this is a business, this is an industry, it's an industrial scale. And as Gosnell's own defense lawyer said, it's a dirty, disgusting business. It does not look nice when you examine it, but don't don't prosecute my client for something that everyone does, just because when you see what it's like, it's horrible. You know, I think we came out of this movie and this book with a huge admiration for the genius of Planned Parenthood. They have managed to make abortion palatable to the American public when you find out the truth about abortion, it is something that no one, or very few people would ever support. But they've managed to keep that covered up, keep that under wraps. It's a clump of cells. They're great marketers, and this is one of the things this film will do is show the truth. Now, one thing I will say to people is there's no gore in it, there's no violence in it. It's very palatable. It's PG-13, so you can bring your teenage children. It's like a Law and Order episode. It's a trial about a horrible thing, like you see in Law and Order, but you never see anything. People may talk about it, but it's never shown.
Now, I saw the film the other night, and I thought while it was very well done, the subject matter, it was chilling. It was almost disturbing to the levels to which Gosnell practiced.
Yeah. I mean, but he wasn't that much of an outlier. I think that's one of the things that people need to know, that he was quite close to what everyone else does. But he was just a psychopath who used that to go that few lengths further and go on a mass killing spree. So he's a killer. We interviewed him in prison. He's charming. He's charismatic. He's relaxed, and he's a psychopathic lion killer. Now,
before you brought up the defense attorney, who was Mike Cohan, who was superbly portrayed by Nick Searcy, who also directed the film. What was it like working with such talented people like Searcy, like Sarah Jane Morris, Dean Cain, Earl Billings?
Well, we try to stay out of the way, we're just the producers. But we were producers with an in-depth knowledge of the story, I suppose. So that's unusual. So people were coming up to us and asking us questions and talking about things. But at the end of the day, they had to make these characters their own. We're heavily based. And I have to say, for example, when I remember going for the audition for Sarah Jane to play the district attorney, and there was another actress there that the director actually thought we'd like her, rather than Sarah Jane. The first actress did the audition. It was good. Sarah Jane did the audition, reading words that I knew well, that I helped write. And she brought tears to my eyes.
Nothing that man did that protects women or children. And you don't have to be a pro-life activist to see that.
So you may think you know the story, and you may think you're able to write it well, and you think you've done a good job. And then when these actors get it, they just take it to another level, and they make you cry about something you wrote yourself.
Oh yeah, a scene. I remember a scene in during the trial when she was showing what baby A to the jury. I got to admit, I welled up a little bit.
Yeah, well, very interesting. You mentioned that scene. So that scene, where she's showing the photograph of baby boy A, but I want to tell people you don't see it in the film. No one sees the photograph.
Yeah, you don't.
She's showing a photograph to the jury. All you see is the back of the photograph. The jury are actually seeing the real photograph of baby boy A. So their reaction to that photograph is a true reaction.
It was authentic.
Of a human being to that scene.
Prosecution has offered you a plea bargain, Dr. Gosnell.
Then I would have to admit I was guilty. I'm not guilty.
Earl Billings, I gotta say, that portrayal of Gosnell, that was creepy, it was chilling, but it was so well done. Have people that knew Gosnell seen the movie? And if they have, did they say anything about how closely Billings' acting came to the real Gosnell?
Yeah, well, we know, we've met Gosnell, and I have to say he does a great job. Earl does a great job. I think Earl had the hardest task of all, actually, because, I think he had the hardest task of all because he, it's playing a cop. We can all relate to a cop. We can all relate to a district attorney. We can all relate to to a journalist, right? Because we know they do jobs we all can relate to. How do you relate to a psychopath?
A serial killer, essentially.
Serial killer. I mean, it's so far out of her normal human discourse. How do you relate to that? And Earl did a great job.
Absolutely phenomenal. Switching gears a little. Now, I'm a documentary junkie. I saw Fracnation. I gotta say, it was an excellent film, probably in my top 10 documentaries of all time. It's been a few years now since Fracnation. What has the response been over the past 5 years, and has it changed at all over time?
Yeah, I mean, Fracnation, once it went on Netflix and Amazon, that really took it into another level. People, it became accessible all over America, all over the world. We just got a huge audience. I think, you don't hear environmentalists talk about the flaming faucet anymore, right? Remember that was a big thing. Oh, the water goes on fire. You never hear them talk about that anymore. We've already debunked that. We've made it. There's a real skepticism out there now that didn't exist about these fractivists, and I hope that Fracnation was part of that. There's a fight back beginning, and one thing about Gasland and Fracnation was Gasland set up this, Fracnation set up that. And, Hillary Clinton was there. Donald Trump was there. Hillary Clinton was Gasland. Donald Trump was Fracnation. Hillary Clinton lost Pennsylvania and Ohio. Donald Trump won Pennsylvania and Ohio. Hillary Clinton had said, I'm not going to ban fracking, but I'm going to regulate it so much that it'll be uneconomic to do it.
I got to say, your films, whether it's Gosnell or whether it's Fracnation, you learn so much in those movies. You have a general idea going in, but you learn so much in those movies. Is that your goal in making films, to educate the populace?
Yeah, I mean, and please don't tell anyone because it sounds really boring, right? It's just between you and me here now. We're not, no one else. Because that does. I mean, people have been asking me, "What are you trying to do?" And I'm trying to bring facts to people, but that sounds so boring. And I hope you can tell people Gosnell is not boring.
No, not at all.
But yes, we want to bring facts to people in an entertaining way, and people may find it strange. I'm talking about Gosnell as a piece of entertainment, but people have to feel like they're not being ripped off. They got to sit there. It has to be a movie experience. You've seen the movie.
Yeah.
It looks like, and I mean this as a compliment to myself, it looks like all the other movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We didn't want this to look worse or different from any other movie.
Well, you've seen some people try to do, I guess for lack of a better term, right of center movies. You've seen Atlas Shrugged attempted, and it essentially turned out to be a B movie. This movie, Gosnell, didn't feel like that.
Yeah. We spent so much time and energy saying, what are people, almost like, what do people expect in a movie like this, in a courtroom drama, right?
Right.
And, they expect cops and DAs and journalists and defense attorneys and the case going against them and the case going for them and the media getting involved. Now, thankfully, that was all there. But, Atlas Shrugged was a political statement disguised as a movie. This is a movie with the truth thrown in, and people can take their own politics from it. But I have to tell people, it's not gory. It's PG-13. And if you have no interest in politics, you'll still enjoy it as a courtroom drama, as a superannuated Law and Order episode.
Well, like I said, I really enjoyed the movie. I learned so much that I didn't know before. Now, before we let you go, give us your pitch. Why should people go see Gosnell?
Because Hollywood doesn't want you to go and see it. The mainstream media don't want you to go and see it. The Democrats don't want you to go and see it because it's all about abortion. This Kavanaugh hearing, it's all about abortion. Gorsuch didn't have the same backlash. It's all about abortion. They know abortion's in trouble. So you need to go and educate yourself about abortion so that you can make up your own mind and argue your own points and find the facts. And Dean Kane's pretty easy on the eye as well. So is Sarah Jane Morris too, actually. Just for all the guys out there, she's a former model. who's now an actress, and she plays the lead role in it. So, you know, if you want just your eye candy for the night, Michael Beach, not bad looking either. Nick, seriously, now, come on, I'm not going to go there. So you've got Michael Beach, Dean Keane, and Sarah Jane Morris. And Serena Fiallo, who plays the blogger journalist.
Yes, she was very good.
They're all easy on the eye. So
I thought the movie was very well cast.
Kermit Gosnell is perhaps the most prolific serial killer in American history.
Well, Phelim, thank you very much for joining us. Folks, go see the movie Gosnell, The Trial of America's Biggest Serial Killer, coming out October 12th. Phelim McAleer, thank you very much.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.